time. The world won't get no better if we just let it be. No, 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 no. The world won't get no better. We gotta change it, yeah, just you and me. Change it, yeah, change it, yeah. Just you and me. Change it, yeah, change it, can't do it alone. I need some help, y'all. Can't do it alone. Won't get no better if we just let it be. No, no, no.
Welcome to Truth Forum, a forum to discuss truth in a friendly surrounding like we do at home at the kitchen table. I'm your host, Dr. Smith. I have rights to perform the songs, the notes of the lyrics, licensed by BMI. I'm your host, Dr. Smith. I will lead compelling, relatable, and honest conversations. My guests will range from community leaders and professionals and real people whose stories will touch and inspire you. Discussion will center around relationships and real stories and personal struggles of amazing, triumphant, and compelling topics in the news. Pop culture. We may even talk a little bit about the LeBron James thing, since I got Mr. Gordies Journey here. If you'd like to be a guest at the kitchen table, you can call us at 616-251-0523. Email us at kingdombuildersworldwide2@gmail.com. Before I introduce my guest to you, Brother Mr. Gordon Matthews Grudge and Brother David Chase, I'd like to thank my producer, Tiffany Smith, Ronnie Hoyt, Carl English, Mike Campbell. Facebook Live, my son T2, camera Kara Bolden, and program coordinator Kara Bolden, and other camera Yvonne Armstrong. Again, my guests will be Gordon Matthew and David Chase. My vision is to catalyze, energize, and bring people together. I want to share some things that are extremely essential. If we're going to be successful, a lot of what we do is there must be a network, and we must know who is in the network. At this time, I'm excited to introduce to you my brothers and my friends, spiritual sons, but they're all older than me. They are none other than Brother Gordon Matthews, as we know him as Scrudge, and David Chase. All right, let's give God a hand for them. All right, y'all, we are on the show here, and we're going to have a really, really good conversation today. So before we do anything, I would like for you to give us just a brief introduction. Just tell me your name, a little bit about yourself, because I'm going to pick it all back up in this interview process. So to my right, all the way to my co-host.
My name's Gordon Matthews. I've been attending Kingdom Builders Worldwide, say going on 3 months. It's a very spiritual, educational church / community center, friendly, feel like home. You're welcome. They embraced me from the first time I walked in the door, and I'm just grateful to be part of this organization.
Mr. Chase.
My name is David Chase, born and raised Battle Creek, graduated 77. Went in the military for 3 years, came home, went through a lot of bad times, got addicted to drugs, and finally got clean through God's grace in 1993, been clean ever since. And I do a lot of work in narcotics now, a lot of service work with people, with other men, trying to help other men come up out the throes of addiction. And I've been knowing Bishop for a while. I was really closer probably to his brother. But we kind of got kindred spirit when it comes to helping people. And I picked up on him when I was in Indianapolis. And I started watching him and following him. And the message was so anointed, the message had me so fired up that I was looking for ways that I could come home and serve, and like that's what I did. So I kind of uprooted and moved back home, and here I am. So that's about it.
Co-host.
Good. Well, you guys know who I am, don't you? Douglas Randall. You didn't know it was Randall.
No,
But
we
Douglas
know
Jones,
DJ.
DJ, Douglas Jones, born and raised here. Grandfather, father, nephew, uncle, great uncle, so on and so forth. Yeah. All right.
So we're going to talk about several things, a plethora of questions I may throw out there. Let's first of all just make everything real light. We got about 60 minutes on the show. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask Brother David or Brother Gordy or myself or Doug, all you got to do is just hit that in your Facebook comments and we will respond to it as possible. But just real lightly, let's talk briefly about this whole LeBron James who said to me, with the Sixers or Los Angeles, and I know you've been very vocal, Mr. Gordon, regarding your opinion. So just let's talk about this. Where do you think he's going? Where y'all think he's going?
Well, the front runner looked like the Lakers, but now it's kind of
You got the Lakers colors on.
no, it's black.
Steelers.
Okay. It's like it's like a monkey wrench got thrown into the play now because Paul George re-signed with the Thunder.
Right. That's there, yeah.
So now it's focusing on Kawhi. What is he gonna do? Mm-hmm. But see, they looking at the whole picture of if they sign him right now, they it's only for like 1 year, and then they can opt out and be gone next year. And then it's not guaranteed that if LeBron goes wherever he goes, that they're not going to be there this year. They'll come next year. So they got to try and sell LeBron on 1 year wherever he goes.
Okay.
So he could bounce. He could leave and go somewhere else again next year. So. But I'm not a LeBron hater.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to get that straight.
This is not a sports show, but I just felt like making it sports topics since I have Brother Gordy on the show. But let's talk about some things. What I want to talk about is briefly, obviously we've heard the word addictions. We've heard the word some challenges. What I want to talk about briefly is 4 men at this table. And I always use this because I think it's a foundation. I know Doug, father, was always in the house. I'm not too sure about Gordon, and I knew your father was present. I'm not sure about the house. So tell us the impact of the father being in the house, and how did that impact you or not impact you? And let's start with you, Mr. Chase.
Well, my father, as everybody knows, Ron Chase, and he was not present in the home, not because he didn't want to be, because my mother just wouldn't have him there, truth be told. My father was a real good dude in the community, but he was a womanizer. My father was a womanizer, and he had a whole bunch of women, so when it come to him and my mother, she just couldn't stand him to the point to where he wasn't allowed at the house, and this, that, and another. He tried to come over, police be there, and all kind of stuff. It was crazy. But I always knew where he was at. I was the only son. I'm raised in the house with my mother's sister, and my 3 sisters, all girls. I couldn't wait to get out of there and talk to some fellas, you know what I mean? So when my daddy would be around the corner, on the corner of Emmett and Hanover Street at Miss Hattie's house, picking up numbers, when we come home from school, we walk by Miss Pitchertina's store.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
We'd be
Pitchertina's.
going towards home, and Mama always made sure we walked home together. And I'd always veer off as soon as we got to the corner of Emmett and Hanover, because I'm going in to see my daddy. He got a pocket full of quarters, you know what I mean? He driving a Chrysler 300, and he gonna put me on the driver's seat on his lap, and he gonna let me drive down the block where all my homies can see me. You know, so my mama just whooped my butt when I go home all the time. Got to the point I just stick it out there. I didn't even, you know, I just go in the house and stick it out there and give me my whooping, take my whooping and go on upstairs or go on outside or something. But I don't, I guess what that did for me is that I formed an opinion, you know, about women at an early age. I didn't like the fact that my mama didn't let my daddy in. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. You know what I mean? My sisters dogged me. I got in trouble all the time. You know, it was just crazy. And one thing I know for real, when a father's not in the home, or even my dad gave me some misinformation at a very early age. I was going to Ann Kellogg, and that light-skinned girl that stayed across the street from me named Peggy. I forget her last name. But she said she's going to be my girlfriend. And we was out on the playground at Ann J. And one day she was my girlfriend, and 2 days later she broke up with me and broke my heart. And
in elementary.
Oh yeah. And I went around there and I told my daddy, and my daddy said, boy, the best way to get over one is get you another one. That's what he told me. And he wasn't trying to give me no misinformation. He was giving me his best stuff. I know that now. But I got 5 kids by 4 different women to this day. You don't think that affected me? That statement affected me, man.
Very, very good. Gordy, let's talk about you, man. Where you at?
Yeah,
Uncle Herb?
my dad was in the family, and my mom. My father was a carpet layer, and I used to go with him sometimes, you know, help him out. I was his little helper, you know, learning his trade and things. And I used to see how hard my father worked and how long of hours he would put in. Even though, you know, back then the pay wasn't really that good, you know. And he was working through Marshall's carpeting, Wolf's carpeting out of Marshall. And it was like kind of my dad's boss was kind of, you know, wasn't giving him a lot of work or, you know, paying him what he should have been earning and things. So my dad did a lot of side work and stuff too. So that instilled in me, or I seen how hard he worked to get what you want out of life. And that made me, whatever I was going to do or accomplish in my life, I said, you know what, put in a good day's work. And when I got to, went through elementary, junior high, I got to Central and stuff, and then I got into printing out at the Calhoun Area Vocational Center. And I was walking by a classroom one day, and I seen the printing presses in there. And it intrigued me, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna take that class next semester. And so my dad didn't have no business cards, no letterheads, no envelopes, anything. So I got a picture of him, and I made up some cards, envelope, letterheads, and things. And they had the Detroit Free Press Industrial Awards, and all the students, you could enter your project. So I entered it, and out of the whole state of Michigan, I took second place, and they got me a scholarship to go to Western.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
So what I want to talk about is, so we have identified, we know Mr. Jones was very much involved in the house, and we'll visit that later. But so what I want to deal with is, I want to deal with the fact that when did, because Mr. Matthew, I remember you, you came out, same year my uncle came out, and I watched you all grow up. But I want to jump to the '67 Detroit riot that took place. A lot of younger folks that watched the movie, but you all were still old enough to kind of understand it. But then in '74, there was a little incident that happened in Battle Creek Central with you guys, at least '72, '74, somewhere in that area. Can you tell me about that? About what was the climate of Battle Creek Central during that time period, whether it was 72, 73, 74, when there's this big old issue that's going on at Battle Creek Central?
Well,
You can remember that.
I'm trying to remember back.
The riot.
74, yeah, 74. I was a senior then. And it was, the school was racially divided.
Yeah.
You know?
Battle Creek Central.
Yeah, it was racially
And
divided.
who was the superintendent, if you can remember that? Can everybody remember that?
Bruce Barney,
Was
wasn't
it Bruce Barney? If
think
y'all
so.
know Rosetta, I know you know.
Yeah.
And even though you probably won 74, but let us know, all you 74 Gilkey, let me know who was the superintendent in 74 or just during that time period. But go ahead. Keep
And
going.
it was, like I said, it was a lot of racial tension. You know, it was divided, man. It was just the whites, the blacks against each other. It was a lot of hatred, a lot of fights, a lot of stuff going on, you know, and had little groups where now they're gangs, whatever, and they was going around jumping, students getting jumped, and it was just out of hand,
So, Gordy, when did, now we all remember back, and we're going to do some history, and we may have some older people older than all of us may try to correct us, and we're open for correction. But when did, and I don't want to really mention too many names, but I can remember when they had Hugh Grills.
Yeah.
The corner was kind of controlled by us.
El Grotto.
El Grotto.
My dad's place.
Yeah, your dad place.
Fries.
Barbecue place.
Fry place. I was trying not to mention, but you're right. And you had
Greasy Spoon.
Greasy Spoons. You had Flemings. You had all those cats, right?
Yeah.
How did, now I'm not justifying what they were doing, but how do you think we lost that community? There was a time when that was part of our community. We can go to Hugh Grills, get a hamburger.
Yeah.
Okay? We had the car wash was over here.
Those Big Al.
Big Al. We had all that. What y'all think caused us to lose that whole environment?
I'll probably say people patronizing it, stop going there, other places, something similar to it, taking their business, going somewhere else, That was our little neighborhood of Big Al's Car Care, You could take your car down there.
Yeah.
You had the pool room.
Yeah.
You had the nightclub.
Yeah.
After the club was over, you could go Greasy Spoon, get the chicken dinners at night and stuff. And then, just like a lot of things over a period of time, they just fade out, For some reason, it could be numerous reasons. Like I said, people stop going there. They don't want to go there no more. It's a new business, or they want to try something new, and then they just get deterred and go somewhere else.
Doug, what you gonna say?
I think that has a lot to do with it. I think also too is, was there somebody else, to hand that baton to? We had all these black businesses back in the day, the grocery stores, little places to eat, and was there somebody to inherit what our forefathers had?
Should have kept.
The guys back in the day.
The businesses should still be there.
It should still be there and better.
Yeah.
And bigger.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to say anything bad about that generation, but maybe they didn't see. Maybe that person wasn't there for them to hand it off to. Maybe that son wasn't interested, or that cousin, or that whoever.
And the role of a father is to do exactly that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is to, now of course we got to keep things legal when possible. So Dave and Gordy, there may have been some challenges with this whole drug thing.
Exactly.
When would you say? Because I can remember when heroin hit Battle Creek. Okay, I remember, and I'm talking about taking it in the arm, that kind of heroin, not the smoking. When did it hit you, or how was it introduced? Of course, try not to mention the names, but how did that get a young brother who had a dream to be a printer, or a young brother that had a dream? Well, first of all, Dave, what did you want to be, first of all? What was one of your goals in life?
I wanted to be an automotive engineer. I've been a car guy all my life.
Okay.
I've been a car guy all my life, but addiction definitely robbed me of all of that. It definitely robbed me of a whole lot of my dreams and my aspirations. Because when you're addicted, that's all addiction's made up
Before
of.
the addiction, tell me the introduction. Can you remember?
My introduction to drugs?
No names, none of that. But yeah,
Right.
How old were you, and where were you at in life? Give me a scene. Where were you at? Were you upset, divorced, broke up with your girl? You still mad at your Aunt J girlfriend? Where were you where that introduction took place?
WK.
WK California.
WK. We used to walk
Junior
from
high.
we used to walk from Hazel Street up Manchester, down the hill by Sellafoil.
Yeah.
And I remember I hated the smell of
Sellafoil
weed.
behind the field house.
Yeah, I hated the smell of weed when I first smelled it. But it would be me, well, like you said, we can't say no names.
Try to use
But
name, right?
it'd be like 8 or 9 or 10 of us walking to school, and it started at the front, and the smell would float back to the back. And I remember for me, it was definitely I was trying to fit in.
But we talking about 7th, 8th, or 9th.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Now,
Yeah.
so let's walk through that. When that happened, there was no mom to go to or dad to go to talk about it? No uncles to go to? When that fit in, when you, hey mom, they're doing this, hey dad, that was not happening in your world?
Back then, it wasn't like, nowadays it's like I sponsor a lot of men who are trying to get clean, who are getting clean. And one thing that you never do, you never point the finger at people, because people don't have the ability to change the human condition. Only God can change the human condition. And so when God steps in to change the human condition, we just want to be in position. So if you pointed the finger, they're not going to come to you.
Right, but
that's when I'm answering your question.
Hold on. I'm trying, because I got some young kids in junior high listening. I want to know, when that introduction was there a mom to go to? Was there a dad to go to? Was there an uncle to go to say, ooh, they smoking over there and I'm smelling it? I'm trying to take us back to that junior high kid.
I'm trying to tell you, we was always told, you better not get caught, you better not do. So no, yeah, they was there, but do you think I was gonna go tell them?
Okay, I got you.
Go tell them.
So go ahead. So you smelt it, keep going. What happened?
Well, I mean, when it came to me, I wanted to fit in, so I hit it too. It stank. I hit it. We'd go to Johnny's store, and somebody would buy us a beer, and we passed it was wine then.
We're talking junior high now.
Oh, yeah.
And these are probably older kids at Central.
Yeah.
Getting these young kids. And they look like us.
Yeah.
These are our own people that look like us.
Yeah. Yes.
That got you in the game.
Yeah. That got us started.
Got you started. Junior high.
Yeah.
7th, 8th, 9th.
Yeah. And somewhere along the way, I developed a taste for it. You know what I mean? I remember going to the after parties at LP's joint.
Yeah.
You know.
So hold on. So before we go there, and I want to get to Gordy. So what you gonna say to that 7th grader that's watching this show now, and 12th grader, 10th grader come up to him and want to offer them, the pills is popular now. Everybody's into the pills.
Okay.
Here's a pill. What you gonna say to that young man? What do you now, Dave, say to that David Chase 7th grader that is now 2018? What you say to that young man?
I say to that young brother, look, you don't have to do that. You got a choice. That's not gonna take you nowhere. Trust me, I done been there, done that, got a hoodie. It's not gonna go nowhere, and you do not have to do that. If you do not want to do that, you do not have to do that.
Was it?
I didn't know I had a choice.
I got you. There you go. I want to hear that.
I was robbed of my choice. You know what I mean? I didn't have no choice.
Now, I'll come back to you. This is good stuff, because remember, our whole objective is to prevent this from happening to the next generation.
Yeah.
Right.
When would you say your journey got started, Gordy?
I'd say probably when first started junior high, 7th grade.
Man.
We young, you seeing all the older guys, down at the park before. Now it's Claude Evans Park. We go around down there playing. We used to play over on Greenwood Street, go up to Dudley, the youth building and stuff. You seeing the older guys, they smoking weed or drinking and stuff. You curious, and that's the thing to do, because it look cool. You want to be like them, because they're older, and it's just how the environment was. And then I think when I started high school, 10th grade, I'll never forget this. That's when I started smoking weed. And, one day I had used to have the little envelopes, little vanilla envelopes, little dime bag. Remember, I had bought one, called myself hiding it in my sock drawer. So I'm at school, and my mom washed clothes. So I come in, I see my mom sitting on the couch, and my dad sitting over in the chair. And I walk in the door, and I look, and they got this look on their face, and I'm like, uh-oh, what I ain't done. So, sit down, son. So I sat there, looked over my mom, and she pointed to the coffee table, and I looked, and there was a bag of weed right there. She said, is this yours? And I couldn't lie. So I said, yeah. So she said, oh, you smoking weed now, huh? And I said, yeah. She said, well, that's not the things you're supposed to be doing and stuff. It's not good for you, stuff like that. And give me the dangers and what could happen. You end up going to jail. You might get to the point where you might be trying to rob people, to get money, to get weed and other drugs or whatever and stuff like that. So they kind of used their reverse psychology on me. She said, well, you know I don't want you doing that, and neither does your dad and stuff. So I'm like, okay. And she said, but if you gonna smoke it, she said, I'd rather you smoke it here in the house. And I'm like, I can't do that, because then I'm gonna be walking around in the house. I'm upstairs in my bedroom right now and smoke the joint. Then I come downstairs and then they know I ain't smoked the joint. So see, that's that reverse psychology. That got me to stop right there. I ain't even want to smoke weed, because I was like, it worked, you know? And then what I tell, like you had mentioned today about the young people watching the show right here, like, you don't have to do something just because somebody handed it to you. You have a choice. You got a choice. You know what I'm saying? Back then, you got to remember, this is back in the 70s. And it was more like a peer pressure thing, you know, the environment, society, you know, things, have changed. Now, it was wanting to be cool back then. But see, now they got so much, young folks right now today, y'all have so much going on for you. You know, you don't have to ruin your life, get caught up in doing drugs or anything. You could be anything you want to be. You just put your mind and set your goal to it. And drugs is not the answer. Yeah.
You want to speak on that, DJ?
Yeah, I was just sitting back here pondering on some things that happened back in the day. You know, marijuana, you know, has always been around for a long time. And, you know, back in the 60s and 70s, you know, and in the 80s, you know, it definitely was a bad thing, and it was frowned upon. You know, your parents always told you not to do it. You know, you tried to hide it.
Yeah.
You know, and if you remember when cocaine or crack hit the streets, you know, back in the 80s. Yeah. You know, and so, you know, if you were anywhere between 19 and 35 or 40, you know, it hit that age group. And now those people now are your 50s, 60s, and 70-year-olds. Yeah. So, I mean, back then, it was it came like a storm. Crack hit the street so quick, a lot of good people fell to that addiction, you know, and society turned into survival mode. It was survival mode. You had so many family members, so many close friends. Yeah. It became overwhelming to this country, and people were trying to survive. So we almost stopped caring about the next generation because we were worried about our own. You were worried about home front. Okay, now as people have gotten older, you know, you get wiser and you see things. Crack is still out there on the street, but it's a new drug out there now. You know, it's meth.
Yeah,
it's graduated. Yeah. It's formed into a different, you know, it's different now.
The pills.
Yeah,
the pills.
Yeah,
you know?
Opioids.
Yeah. Yes. So and it has a different effect on you. You know, so I mean, just sitting back, listening to everything that's going on, and watching all the folks that are affected in their lives now. And now it's like we're caring again. We're trying to get back into that. I think we lost it. I think our generation somehow lost it. Not on purpose. Not saying that we meant to. I think it was just the way it was. And now we're trying, and we see these young guys now. We need to do something because, you know, with technology and other outside influences, you know, negative influences and different things, kids are distracted now. So now we have to worry about crack cocaine. We got to worry about meth and pills and you know, kids, you know, committing suicide and carrying. I mean, it's a whole lot of things now.
A lot of different peer pressures.
So there's a ballot, you know, in legislation. They're literally, you know, talking about the conversation of legalizing the marijuana because of the medical reasons. What's y'all thought about that? Dave, what you think about that, Dave?
I don't really, I can only speak for myself, Bishop, man. I know I can't do nothing like that. You know, I am addicted. I mean, I have an addictive personality. You know, one of anything is too much for me, and 1,000 never enough. And one other thing I wanted to say, I wanted to piggyback off of what you said, is when I started getting high, it wasn't no, you know, this is your brain on drugs. We didn't have no commercials like that.
Okay.
We didn't have nothing. We didn't have nothing. We was like the poster kids for, you know, drug use.
Okay.
You know, we didn't have no examples before us, and, you know, don't do this, or this is what it'll do to you, this, that, and the other. Today it's a whole different ballgame. Now they got everybody, everything is telling you, don't do drugs, don't do this. So I don't know what it is
Doesn't
now.
it seem
But
worse
I don't-
now than it was then?
Oh yeah, big time.
So what's the problem?
Big
We got
time.
all kind of exposure, and it's worse
Right.
now. And we're gonna get to the God thing eventually, but back
Right.
to you legally. If they, what you think about the law part? If they should approve this whole marijuana medical drug, what's your thought about it?
Well, they've been pushing it. They got the medical marijuana.
Right.
And some say by the studies they have done that smoking weed does help some people, with medical issues, like got glaucoma and other illnesses they got. But the thing to me is really the government. They know that marijuana or is like $1 billion industry. And see, the government is not getting any of that money. So that's why they trying to, where they can legalize it now and they selling it. So then the government will be taxing these businesses and making money back off of it because they're not getting anything right now because it's a legal street drug. But by them doing that, they got their hand and we're getting a slice of the pie.
I think it's a bad idea. I mean, because businesses, companies still aren't going to honor the fact that marijuana is legal. So, I mean, it's like anything else. You drink and you get in an accident at work or you tear something up, you go take a drug test, you come up positive, you get fired. Marijuana is going to be the same thing.
It's going to be just like you go in the store and purchase anything else. It's going to have all the little jars of weed and stuff. You're going to go in there, just buy it just like that and bag it up and go on out the store as if you went in there buying, groceries or something.
Let me
They're
speak on
going to
another
do it.
reality.
They're going to do it.
I want to speak on another reality. Now, there are some people, look, everybody that smoke weed ain't addicts. Everybody that drink ain't alcoholics. You gotta take that dynamic into account. Some people can smoke weed, drink, and be functional and go to work every day, raise their. I know, I done witnessed it. Look, I don't know. For me, you just got to know who you are. I've dated women that socially drank or whatever. It don't bother me, but I know I'm the alcoholic in the family. I'm the one that can't drink. You know what I mean? So it's like I know who I am. I know my limitations. I know what I can do and what I can't do. But I do know a lot of people that smoke marijuana and go to work every day.
Well, let's check it out. And this is great. Let's talk about it from a biblical perspective, okay? Let's talk about this whole drinking wine or smoking weed. Questions always nowhere in the Bible where it says you can't take a 40 and all that kind of stuff. So let's talk about the fact that I have a lot of mistakes I've made in life. But one is I've never been high and I've never drunk, okay? So the Bible says your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost.
Okay.
Because it's a temple.
Yeah.
So, the reason why we're reaching out for a substance is to deal with something lacking.
Exactly.
Would you agree?
Yeah,
Would y'all agree with that?
absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we need to find what is that true source that can fill that void.
That void, yeah.
Because the weed, as you say, Dave, okay, I'm gonna get a little bit, but I'm gonna need a little more, and a little more, and a little more, because I'm trying to fill a void.
It's spiritual.
All right? So with that being said, would you say fairly? Now, I've been around brothers for years, and I know brothers have been on dope. Somewhere, I have seen people, they get a little slower in their reaction. They're not as quick. Even, think about it. Marijuana slow you down.
That's your thinking.
It slow your thinking. And I'm watching this. So I'm in this world that may be totally clear-headed, and I'm around everybody that used to get high, and I see a slowness in everybody. That's scary. Because if I see a world like that, it's almost remind me of a system that done a big number on our community.
You say something was lacking, and it's definitely God, and I know that today. 25 years clean in this, I know that. There was a reason why I got high. I got high because I couldn't handle my reality.
Yes, sir.
Okay? When at the parties and LPs, I'm on the wall until I hit the wine bottle. I hit the wine bottle. I danced like
Now
John
you're on the dance
Travolta.
floor.
You know what I'm saying? So there was definitely something lacking.
Was it really like John Travolta?
Well, not John, well, you know what I'm saying. But it was always.
I just had to know.
But it was something that was lacking. And so spiritual, from a spiritual aspect, I fellowshipped with those spirits because
Yes, sir.
they gave me something that I thought I needed.
Yes, sir.
Now, my priorities have shifted. What's important to me, my perspectives have shifted from people, places, and things to a loving God. But everybody don't get that.
Right.
Now, my dependence, I'm here now in Battle Creek on this show because I'm trying to be a better son.
Right.
I'm trying to get in.
Right.
You know, this is my final quarter.
Right. Yes. Yes.
But by the same token, I have to be able to identify and relate with those brothers that's coming up right now since I've been there and done that, and I got something to get in folks that they may not never get nowhere else. Can't nobody ID with somebody that don't use drugs better than somebody that don't use drugs. Can't nobody better help a drug addict find a way out than another drug addict who found his way out.
So let me ask you this: was Jesus on drugs?
No,
So why is he the best example?
he is the best example
Why, if he never did drugs?
because he lived a perfect life.
I mean, I'm just going by what you just said. I'm not challenging you. I'm asking some intelligent questions. You
Okay.
say a person has to go through it to be a great example. So
I'm talking about in what people look for identification. You know, like, okay, on the way home today, me and my brother left church today, and we was going home, and we had a conversation. You remember that conversation that we had?
Which
About why it's so easy to come to this church?
one? Yeah.
It's the same reason, because you have created an atmosphere of acceptance no matter who you are.
Exactly.
That's
Because Jesus
exactly,
did that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking, it's really the same thing.
Okay.
It's really the same thing.
Okay.
I'm just saying, it's easy for me to talk. It's easy for them cats to talk to me because the way that I talk to them, they know where I've been.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just saying I'm in a better position to help.
And I got you, and
can
I
relate to
agree.
him.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm just trying to understand. I agree with you. So, but where my passion is, I got a little 11, 12-year-old that just want to be around, don't want to be in nobody's trouble. How do we get him to even understand what you're saying? He'll look at you and just say, well, you just an OG. You was on dope, and he's so far away from us. How do we reach that kid so he don't repeat that same cycle? How do we reach that young man or that young lady?
We give them the support that
You
they
gotta
need.
show them by example.
By example.
Exactly.
And we give them the support that they
So
need.
you cannot be supporting these kids and you got a little liquor in your hand and a little
Exactly.
Hello, okay.
You bad example.
Bad example.
And that's what I meant earlier about we stopped caring.
Okay.
You stop paying attention to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The future, those kids.
Yeah.
For a long time, that wasn't happening.
Yeah.
All we were doing was filling up the drug rehab facilities and prisons
Yes.
with people that was on drugs.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
Like you were saying, your church is about not just talking about it,
But being about it.
being
Our
about it
church.
and doing
Our church.
Our church. And it's showing the progress of like building a house or something. You start one brick at a time, and
Yes,
then
sir.
you show what by keep adding more bricks to it, build that foundation and how it comes up, and now you got a house.
Right,
That's what we had to do with the young people today is we have to show them, not tell them, also tell them, but show them how their life can be different, that you don't have to do this, or that's not the way to go about things, you know, and inform them, look, of the results of you out there selling drugs or whatever. What's the three choices that's usually gonna end up? You either selling drugs, on drugs, you either gonna go to jail, go to prison, or you're gonna be 6 feet under the ground.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's not no choices of life that you would want to have.
Right,
You
right.
can get your education. You can have, walk with God. You know, be a spiritual man or woman. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way to live your life. You know.
There's a couple of people responding here too to what we're talking about here. You know, Rosetta, Brenda Shaw, they went to school with.
What Brenda say?
Brenda Shaw says, what did she say here?
Expect greatness from them.
Expect greatness from them, support them to pursue their dreams.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Brenda.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Rosetta said that's where we take a kid and we show him a different way than telling them a different way.
Thank you,
So
Rosetta.
In other words, you got to show them.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Instead of
Show
telling
them. You got to
That's
show them.
what I was talking to you
Sure.
about the representatives that we're going to have in these hoods.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, you can't tell a kid, look, you don't need to be drinking in school, but you like Otis.
And you got,
On
you got
Mayberry.
40 in
Mayberry.
your hand. You got
You know,
40
you-
in your
you
hand.
can't-
Oh, you
Yeah.
got the key to go inside the jail.
Right, right.
Yeah,
You go
yeah,
lock
yeah.
yourself up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't have a
Mad
rep
at
like
somebody
that.
in there.
You
Yeah.
can't have a rep like that.
Right, no, not
That's
at
a
all.
bad example.
So now, one of the big issues in Battle Creek is all these young cats with the guns. They have no value for life. I mean, they just shooting everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Put them guns down.
You know, how there's some fellas in y'all generation that's serving life right now, okay, for the same thing.
Yeah.
How did their message not get down to this generation? See, somewhere there's a disconnect, y'all, in our communication.
That's a good question.
We got a major disconnect because this is nothing new. Okay, you got OGs that's been doing stuff for years and we're repeating the same cycle. And I come back to my hometown and this is no reflection on any other community leaders. I have mass respect for everybody else, but it hurts me when it seems like I did a march against drugs in 1990 and now it's 2018 and I really don't see too much of a difference.
No.
So Dave, you came back to Battle Creek, and I appreciate you coming back to work with the ministry with me. What is one thing you, and I want you to think about it before you answer, then same with you, Gordy. What is that one God-given thing you feel God has given you some extension to live that you want to do before that last oxygen, before that last breath? What is that one thing you want to say? So when you stand before God, and he said, well done, thou good and faithful servant. What is that one thing you feel you want to accomplish? And even you, Doug, I want all three of those answers. Tell me, what's that one thing you want to say you did? Whether it's that bucket list that you want to say you did for God before you close your eyes. You can go Dave, you can go, and then Gordy, and then DJ.
That I help somebody, you know, that I use my, the same thing that broke me down through God and through people who God used to minister to me, like you, that I was able to take that fall down and I was able to help somebody else get up. To take the same thing that the devil used to knock me out the park, God used to bring back so I could help somebody else. And I helped a lot of guys. I really have. In this 25 years, I've helped a lot of guys, man, and I'm proud of that. You know, that's all I want to do. I just want to, you know, if we can save a handful, you know, in the next 5 years. It's about progress. It's about progress, not perfection.
Before we go to Gordy, we had an autobiography of David Chase. Who would you want to play you?
What?
If we did a movie on David Chase, who would you want to play you? Actor.
Chris Rock, Pookie.
There's a reason I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. Now, come on, let's keep going.
That's an accurate description.
There you go. That's what I want to hear. So, tell me how low, if you're comfortable, how low would you say you went out there? How bad did you get, man?
My mama giving me sandwiches through the mailbox slot. Said, son, I love you, but I can't let you in.
Couldn't go in the house.
My mom used to be married to Gordy's dad.
Yeah.
That's how we related. That's how we stepbrothers.
Yeah.
You know? My mom said, son, I love you. And right there, 23 Hazel Street, we had a mailbox that was right built onto the front porch of the house with a little metal slot. She come and look to the people, hey, baby, how you doing? I said, I'm doing fine, Mama, need $20. She said, you hungry? I said, yeah. She go fix me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, slip it through the box. I said, I love you, son. But I can't let you. And after I got clean, she told me, she said it broke her heart to do that.
Right.
She said, but I knew the only one that could help you was Almighty God. I didn't have the power.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
That's what I'm talking about.
Word up.
Word up. Word up. And you was out there for how long, Dave?
17 years.
17 years.
Rosetta said,
Dave, you silly. Dave. What all did you lose?
Well, Kara knows my kids. Kara's mom, Susie, took care of my kids. That's the one God gave me. I had a moment of clarity, kid. I had a moment of clarity when I was full-blown active, and my baby's mama went to jail. When Lisa went to jail, and I was stuck with the two kids.
You
and I was
throwing
in
everybody's name
full-blown-
out there.
It's all good.
I hope
Jesus,
Lisa's okay. I hope
it's
Lisa's
all
okay.
good.
Well, I hope Lisa's okay. You threw all this in
Yeah.
there. Okay,
Yeah,
Lisa.
she all right.
Lisa, I apologize for anything he says. Continue.
I stay in the doghouse. It's the story of my life.
Go ahead, man.
But Susie, I had enough clarity to put my kids in my boy's car, gave him, I don't know, filled the tank up, which I would never do because that's dope money. I'm not feeling nobody. But God gave me a moment of clarity long enough to drive my kids from Elkhart, Indiana to their house. And Susie took my kids, David and Alicia, and took care of my kids while I finished getting high. You know what I mean? I had enough sense
That
to
was
do
your
that,
lowest
man.
moment you felt.
Yeah.
Wow.
I knew that wasn't me. That was not me.
Right.
I knew I couldn't take care of them kids, and if they stayed with me, it was going to be ugly. So I took them to somebody who I knew could take care of them, who always loved them and always cared for them. And they love caring for them.
That's a
man.
beautiful thing.
They love them, man.
That's a beautiful thing. Gordy, what would you say? How low did you get, man? If you did or not, I don't know.
I'd probably say, I wasn't really out there like that, but it was enough to where it was jobs, going from this job to that job, this place to that place, being in different relationships and things. And always my mind was, I didn't want to do it, but I was doing it, and I'm gonna make things better. I'm gonna stop, get my life together and things, and being in shelters and staying with family, friends, and partners, and some female friends and things. And I just like, man, you got to get yourself back together. This ain't you. This ain't how you been living or have been living. And of all the things that I had, had a good job, had a nice car, had a house, always had money, had money to buy drugs or alcohol or whatever. But it was one thing missing in my life: God.
Mm-hmm.
I had everything but God.
Yep.
And I thought I didn't need God. I said, what I need God in my life for? I got a good job. I make good money. I got a car. I got a nice car. I got everything. But you know what? It always something would happen, and then I lose it. And then I'd start all over again. And then over the years, it just came down to, you know what? Why do this keep happening to you? Why it keep happening?
Brothers, I want to say this to y'all that's listening to and watching us. This is all about building men and kingdom, man. Listen. We talk about our pain and we talk about our stories, but we also talk about recovery. And when I say recovery, I'm not using the term recovery of drugs. These are new men. He that's in Christ is a new creature. Old things are passed away. And when David can share his story, and Gordon can share his story, and DJ can share their story, it's a story that they're being transparent enough to change you. And whatever we can do as men in this community, we want to do our very best to try to bring, we want to have a meeting where all the moms would just bring all their sons, and we want to sponsor and just spend some time with these young boys, because at the end of the day, the pain is real. The pain is real, and Dave, I really appreciate you sharing your transparency, and Gordy. Time is up. Like I told you, it's going to be that quick. See that?
Yes.
So I'm gearing by about 2 minutes so we can dismiss. But like I said, give me some powerful words to say that you would like to say to your viewing audience before I have my dismissal. And I told you it's going to go quick. See that?
So did.
I told you it's going to go quick.
Yeah.
So 2 minutes, whatever you feel that you need to say to your audience.
I always had a soft spot for kids, because there's kids all over, worldwide. I hate seeing things happening to kids, how they getting abused, kidnapped, children getting killed, kids getting in drugs or like their parents are incarcerated or anything. The struggles I've been through and things that have happened to me, God has preserved me, and still, at my age, I'm still in good health. You know, I still got a good mind, body, and soul. And now I'm getting the spirit from Kingdom Builders Worldwide. And I want to, God has given me the message to give back to the young generation today, so that they don't make the mistakes that, speaking for myself, that I've made or they've seen others make, to give them a different path to follow, instead of, it's not a one-way path that's the only way you can go, or that's the way you're supposed to do things. You have other choices and other paths to go. You can go left, right, up, down, but you don't have to just go straight forward and get so focused on that's what you're doing and get led down the wrong path. And I want to I like seeing the young kids, starting them off like we're doing here at the church, starting them out young, and then when they get to our age, or, you know, towards our age in their teens and things like that, they have a better understanding, and then also have the Spirit of God in their life.
Thank you.
That would change them and mold them into to be the man or woman that they're supposed to be.
Thank you. 2 minutes, Dave. Thank you.
I'm a grassroots type of cat. I'm gonna be out there. I came here to get out here in these neighborhoods and talk to these kids. I was an in-school suspension supervisor in Dub for a few years. And I got a real good, part of my blessing from Almighty God is that I know how to talk to people. I can talk to people. I don't come with no authority. I ain't coming with no juice. I'm juiceless. I'm coming humbly. I didn't have nobody. I didn't feel like I had nobody I could talk to. So if you out there and you don't feel like you got somebody to talk, you could talk to me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What you and me talk about stay in the vault. It don't go nowhere. We call it in the program anonymity. The state of bearing no name. I wanted somebody to talk to, and I didn't have nobody to talk to because I thought I was going to be scolded.
Yes, sir.
And together, we can do something that you can never do by yourself, that I could never do by myself.
Yes, sir.
And with a God in our life, anything is possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to be in these streets until they throw the dirt on me.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm called to do.
Wow.
And I take my cues from my bishop and my brothers up here at the kingdom.
Yep.
That's why I'm here, man.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's why I'm here.
Thank you. Deacon. Thank you.
I think it's always nice to hear the stories of survival and success. And so I measure what you guys have gone through. Your life now is being successful. And young kids are going to be looking up to you and looking at you.
Yeah.
And I think that's a positive thing. You
Yeah.
know?
And we got to walk right.
And we got to walk right. Exactly, because they're going to learn
They
by
gonna
what
look.
they see. You know, they're going to hear what you got to say, but they're always going to learn
They
by
can
what
spot
they
a
see.
phony.
What
Yeah.
they see.
Tell them.
My prayer is that I continue to be led by God. When I met Dave, I saw him on Facebook, and I'm glad I did not allow myself to turn that channel off, because like he just said, I just need somebody to hear you. And there's a whole lot of folks like that. And I'm glad I heard him.
No, I ain't the only one.
And because I heard him, look where we at. My heart would go out to like the young man right there. He's just a kid. You see that? That's a child. That's nothing but a child. But if we're not careful, he'll be lost. And that's our responsibility, y'all. So, man, I'm just so excited, elated
too.
about having the brothers here today. And, you know, these are the kind of things we want to talk about, because we want to continue to let folks know that, you know what, we're going to be all right.
Yes, we are.
I always end the show prior to prayer is I acknowledge my ancestors. Wow. My mother, she's alive and I love her dearly. But her mom, Ruby Elizabeth Perry, my grandmama.
Yeah.
My grandfather, Leo Dill, they called him Pato Perry. And then I acknowledge my father. They're all gone. The great late Hugh Smith. And my grandfather, Edward West Smith, that's where I got my name from, and Gussie Smith. Hey, y'all, we have to know who we are.
That's right.
Yep.
And we got to know time and no space. And then we got to get in the network. This is the network right here.
That's right.
Right.
We would never judge you.
Never.
Nope.
We would never judge you. All we want you to do is take the information that's being shared and apply it to your life.
Yep.
And in due time, we're going to be all right. Brother, let's pray like we always do. Grab hands. Father, we thank you for these men.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for this show. Powerful. Powerful.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
God, touch the city of Battle Creek.
Yes, sir.
Men and women, families are hurting.
Yes,
Lord.
God, sometimes we just get frustrated.
Yep.
Don't know where to go, where to turn, what to do. But today, God, we put our trust still in you.
Yes.
In Jesus' name.
Jesus' name.
Amen.
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 Great job.
That's it, y'all.
If we just let it be. No. The world won't get no better. We gotta change it, yeah. Just you and me.
AccessVision. Your voice, your community.